Well, the season's over and things have slowed down. Got about 2 to 3 months before the matches really start up again. So I think it's time to break in some new brass. Hi everyone, it's the Four Gun Guy. And I want to do a pretty quick video today. I always say that, but this one should be on how I prepare my new brass. So talk about why you want to prepare the brass. And then I just want to go through some of the processes, right, that I do. It's not my entire lengthy reloading process, but yeah, I think it makes sense and it's something we should consider. So if you're ready to go, let's get to it. Well, now, it's not like I buy new brass every year, right? I don't just at the end of the year throw out my old brass and then say, okay, I'm going to spend all this money on some new brass. I generally wait until I've got 13 to 15 firings through the brass. And then that's when I will buy some new brass and use the old brass to practice with because, I think I did a video on case head separation, and if I didn't, I'm gonna. But you don't want to have case head separation while you're at a match. I've seen that happen. I think I did a video on that, and it's not good. So if you use your old brass to practice with, then okay, I'm out at the range, get some case head separation. It's still okay, right? It didn't cost me a stage in a match. Okay, well, I'm going to do 3 basic things here, right? Or 4, but 2 of them kind of go hand in hand. I'm going to chamfer and deburr the mouth, right here, the neck. I'm going to lube the inside of the neck, and then I'm going to mandrel the neck. Now let's talk about why we're doing all these things. So let's start with the chamfer and deburr. When you get these cases, and I'm going to put this up here next to me, when you get these cases, they're not chamfered, they're not deburred, right? They are annealed, and they're brand new cases. But if I put these two together, one that I chamfered and deburred, one that I did, or one that's new, you'll see the difference. And what this is going to help me do is it's just going to help the bullet seat easier. It's going to help me chamber the round easier. And so that's what that's going to help me with. Now, mandreling, you don't have to mandrel if you don't want to. But I'm going to back up here and say that, yes, I do use new brass in matches. So, in fact, the last match I shot, I did pretty good. That rifle was spot on. It was accurate. And I was using 0 fired brass, so brand new brass that I did this process with. But if I didn't mandrel, then the neck tension coming out of this brand new brass for me is about 3/1000ths of neck tension, okay? The problem with that for me is I usually run about 1.5 neck tension. So I don't want anything to change because if something like that can then change my muzzle velocity, which will change the ballistics in my ballistics app. And now I'm in a match wondering, why am I high or low or whatever? So I want the new case to be as close to the old case as it can be. And that's why I mandrel. Now I want to talk about something else, and that's fire forming the brass. Well, this new piece of brass has not been fire formed to my chamber yet, right? Because let's say I take a piece of brass that I've fired 13 times and I compare it to this, there's going to be a difference. There's going to be a difference could be a difference in the overall length. There's definitely going to be a difference in the shoulder measurement because this brass is basically SAMI spec. And depending on the rifle you have, who chambered your barrel? Is it factory? Did someone chamber it for you? You may have given them specific instructions on how to build that chamber, how to ream that chamber out. And so you may have a little bit of growth to get this to fire form to that chamber. Generally for me, it takes about 3 firings, and then this is perfectly formed to the chamber of my rifle. So I just wanted to touch on that. So if you're like me and you keep measurements on everything, you'll take a piece of your 13 fired brass or whatever number it is. You'll do all your measurements on that, write them down on a piece of paper. So when you get your new brass, you can start to see, okay, here's the difference, right? Because that 13 fired brass is your chamber, basically. So you will be able to then see how much growth do I have, do I need on the shoulder? And then when it reaches that point, you know you're fire formed. All right, well, basically what I do is I take a bore mop, right? I put it on my prep center, and then I just put a little bit of wax on my finger, and I just start kind of rubbing that on the bore mop. Now, you don't need a lot because you don't want goop all over the place. Just do that about 3 times. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chamfer, deburr, and then I'm just going to run that down there. And there you go. And now I just have lube on the inside of the neck because that's only where I need it. And now I don't have to go through the whole process of throwing these in a tumbler and tumbling them and doing all that stuff. I just have enough lube on the inside of this neck that it's going to help me to seat the bullet when it comes time for bullet seating. I don't do anything to the primer pocket. You don't need to. So this is basically what I'm doing here. And then we'll run through the mandrel. All right, then I just have a mandrel in the die here. So this is not a sizing die, it's nothing. It's just a mandrel. And this is basically just to ensure, and look, there's hardly any resistance there. So this is really just to make sure that yes, it is either at the neck tension I want, or if it has to expand, it's going to expand it maybe a thousandth of an inch or so. But that's basically the only reason that I run it through this mandrel. Final thoughts here. Basically, some guys literally take these out of the box. They put a primer in it, load the powder, seat the bullet, and they shoot them at matches, right? Some of the guys I shoot with do that, and it works great for them. But you know me, I just can't do that. So this is just something that I figure, hey, it's downtime. I'll get these ready for the next year, and then all I have to do is break out the box, open it up, and reload them. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. Tried to keep it short, but this is just one of those things that we can do in our off time, along with cleaning our triggers, making sure our scopes are operating properly, maybe tearing our rifle down and rebuilding it to make sure everything there's no rust, everything's tightened properly. Maybe even if you have a Bix and Andy trigger, this is the time to take your trigger apart, clean it. I don't mean put lighter fluid down it. I mean literally take it apart if you can. Don't void your warranty. But yeah, just all these little things that are going to get us ready for the next season. So it's not a week away from our first match and we're going, oh crap, I forgot to do this, and that. So yeah, hey, I hope this helps a little bit. And thanks for watching, everyone. And until next time, shoot straight.